There we go. Hey, we should be live on Facebook now. All right, let's try that again. Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Natural State, live on Facebook for a special edition of Inside the Natural State Sports Podcast. So I hope you guys are out there enjoying this today. We got a big show, as you can tell today. We got Joe Kleine joining us on the Mountain Valley Live hotline. Andy's, just don't worry about it right now. It'll come up in a minute, I hope. So if not, we're live somewhere because there's 2 people. There's 3 people watching, so we're live somewhere. So I don't know. All right, man. Well, big show today. We're going to talk with Joe Kleine, talk some Last Dance, and get into that, and then also little Corky's barbecue. Of course, we got a little of that here in front of us. Playing with our new cameras. I think Andy's almost ate all of his already. So the fan is making it kind of.
Eat fast when the fans
well, it gets hot in here, man. So new cameras. Hopefully the sounds are good. Hopefully everything is good. Let me check our settings and make sure we don't have a massive echo today. And we probably do. All right, I hope I fixed that. I don't know why these settings keep changing on us. All right. So hopefully everything's fixed, guys. Welcome into Inside the Natural State. This will sound much better on the podcast, I promise. And we appreciate you guys joining us. We are joined today by the one and only Big Joe Kleine, and we are excited to have Big Joe on with us today. I hope I probably had you muted that whole time, but Joe, thanks for joining us, bud.
Oh man, my pleasure. Glad to be on with you guys.
So Andy and I are sitting here enjoying some amazing Corky's barbecue and cheese dip. I'm devouring a half chicken over here. So
sound like me.
Well, we had to get the good barbecue. I mean, we couldn't have Big Joe on without having the best barbecue in Central Arkansas. So Corky's is the spot. Make sure you get out there and check it out.
Well, thank you, guys. Appreciate that very much.
So what's Joe doing to pass the time during quarantine right now? Are you surviving this? How are you making it?
Well, everybody, you kind of get your little triangle or your little area where you go. I mean, I go up to Corky's and help our drive-thrus open. So, that's been very busy for us, and we're very grateful that it's been busy. And then I'll come home and, every now and then I'll slide over and get some golf balls at Pleasant Valley Country Club. But, that's, pretty much I'm either doing yard work here, working at Corky's, or sliding out to hit a few golf balls. So, I mean, it's, kind of probably what everybody's doing. You got my little routine and trying to do the best we can to stay quarantined and try to get this thing under control.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like a pretty good triangle to me, Joe.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining.
Balls in the middle. That's for sure.
Yeah. The yard work thing is a little rough, but I still have my 18-year-old at home. But I'm losing him losing my free labor next year, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
See, I'm still
a couple people with long businesses.
I'm still trying to work my my free labor to the right age where it's appropriate, I suppose. So 7 and 3. My 3-year-old likes to push the bubble mower to help, but that's about all I get out of him. So. But
I got a grandson who does the same thing.
I know how it goes. It's a lot of fun though. My wife thinks it's really cute, and apparently it's great picture opportunities. So, but yeah, we've been doing our best to quarantine as well. We've been sitting here. I've been playing teacher and all that good stuff now. While Andy over here, who didn't work for like 2 years, is now back to work and hadn't missed a beat. So he's got it rolling.
Finally.
I'm glad it's you with the 7-year-old and the 3-year-old, and not me. That's all I can say.
Me too, Joe.
Well, I'm sure I can send them up to Corky's in North Little Rock and they can do some dishes or something. You guys get them out of the house.
See over the top. He can do some dishes.
Yeah,
he actually likes it.
Yeah.
Didn't he make a mistake and tell you, I like doing dishes one day?
He did. It was his punishment. It was his new chore. And then he was like, I like it. I'm like, crap.
Like, what if I was you get dishes every night?
So we wanted to get you on the show a little bit just to talk a few different things, but obviously the Last Dance is our joys of sport right now, and and couldn't help but notice your spat with the pigskin preacher over the week on Twitter, which was a lot of fun. So following all that, so I really wanted to get some of your thoughts. Now, obviously, as we've watched The Last Dance, it's obviously a Michael Jordan documentary, and brings us back to when I absolutely loved watching the NBA. It was my favorite time frame for the NBA. But so it's been a lot of fun to watch. But one thing that I found interesting, and knowing your history in the NBA, I know you played against these guys, but I wanted to talk about playing with Dennis Rodman and any moments that stick out with Dennis, because obviously he's
Every moment with Dennis.
And so yeah, he's wild. But I want to get your thoughts on that and just what it was like playing with Rodman.
Well, I mean, it was a lot like all those guys, Scotty, Michael, and Dennis. It was a lot more fun playing with them than against them because, I mean, Dennis was just a guy that did all the dirty work and guarded you hard and rebounded hard. And, he was really, as an opponent, he was really annoying because he was good and he guarded you, like I said, and rebounded and just made life tough for you. So, I mean, playing against him, as it is with all great players, is very, very difficult. But, everybody has this picture of him being, mean or tough. I mean, he was a puppy dog. I mean, my kid, Daniel, was a ball boy with the Bulls when he was, I think, 10. And, I mean, I'd go in early to watch, to work out because I was a role player, into the bench guy. And, I didn't know if I was going to play that night but I had to stay in shape. And so I'd go in early and work out and take him with me, and they'd sit in the lounge together. And when I'd come back in before the game, he and Dennis would be sitting there watching cartoons with their mouth open. So, I mean, so he was harmless. He was just wild, I mean, I think they depict that very well in the documentary, is that, he's not doing anything evil or mean. He plays hard and he lived hard. And so, I mean, he was a different cat, but, not a mean bone in his body.
I don't know why it's just so easy for me to see Dennis Rodman sitting watching cartoons, though. So
I totally see that. Him and Roadrunner, or maybe a guy. Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I see that.
I got a kick out of the segment, the part there where he, they let him go on his quote unquote vacation to Vegas, and Carmen Electra, and Jordan's like, he's not coming back. Like, he's just not coming. So.
Should have known.
We knew he wouldn't be back. So
he's not going to be back in 48 hours. You know that.
So I'm gonna put something up on our live screen here for just a second, because I thought this was pretty awesome, and I want to know the story behind this, because I saw it on the broadcast, actually, I think in an interview with Phil Jackson, but then also there was, you posted it on Twitter, I think, is in reaction with Pigskin there. But the holiday card from Dennis Rodman has got to be the greatest thing I have ever seen.
Well, first of all, I love Pigskin. A lot of what I was doing with him, I mean, I didn't necessarily believe it, but I knew all the things I was saying were really going to bother him, because he's a great guy, and he's a Detroit through and through, Michigan through and through. And so I was poking the bear a little bit there, but that's Dennis right there. I mean, that picture, of him looking up to heaven and an angel. I mean, it's just, that's him in a nutshell. I mean, he's asking to go to Vegas, in January, but he's sending out that postcard to everybody in December. So, I mean, it's just, that's him in a nutshell right there. Again, wild, you're looking at it from afar and you're going, good grief. But inside the circle, he was very focused, practiced hard, played hard. He was a good teammate. I mean, he's the epitome. He's the guy that when he's on your team, you love him, because again, he does everything. He does everything that nobody wants to do. But when you're playing against him, he's a real nuisance, because he's like a gnat. I mean, he's everywhere and you can't get him off you.
Yeah, sure with him.
Well, so maybe along those same lines, because obviously he was there, but I know you played against him with the Pistons. What was it like playing the Pistons during that run? Where they, I mean, obviously we see the depiction on The Last Dance, but what was it like playing against those teams?
No, they were good now. I mean, defensively, they were on point, and I think that's what made them very good. I mean, they had Joe Dumars, who was a very versatile guard. I mean, he could play a little point. He could score it. I mean, he's a very good defender, very unselfish player. I mean, I think their chemistry was awesome. I think they had a great chemistry. You know, John Sally and Dennis and James Edwards and Lambeer and Denny Johnson. I mean, they had a tremendous chemistry and were very focused and on point about winning games, not really caring how they won them or who got the credit. They had a Hall of Famer in Isaiah Thomas. And so, I mean, just very on point team that was very difficult to play because defensively, they just got after you. And then they got the bad boy thing going, which, a lot of teams played that way. The NBA was taught that way to play tough and physical back in that day. They obviously were the gold standard to that. They took it to another level, but that's the way the NBA was taught. I mean, they weren't the only team doing it. It's just that they did it a little to the extreme, but I think a lot of that was because they got this bad boy thing going, which really hyped it up, which made them want to even do it more. And so, again, very difficult, very good team, very talented team.
So one of the things that would always come up, I know, in the show, and obviously one of the things that made them great was them being able to get under your skin. Was there ever a moment that you played against the Pistons that you can remember that that you had that moment where they got under your skin, where you kind of lost your cool? Because, I mean, I think we can all see Big Joe losing his cool.
The psychology of what they were doing was brilliant because I remember in Sacramento and even in Boston, when they would be coming into town, your focus would be, I'm not going to take any crap from these guys. I'm going to show everybody how tough I am. You were focused on that instead of how are we going to win the damn game? You wanted to show everybody how tough you were. So right there, they already had an advantage on you because you weren't thinking about what you were, supposed to be doing. You were thinking about, when Lambeer pops me with an elbow, I'm not going to take it. And I'm going to show everybody, that I'm a tough guy instead of, taking it, staying in the game or not getting the free throws to the other team and helping us win. And so I think that was the brilliance of the whole bad boy thing, is it got you off your game mentally before the game even started. You were trying to accomplish one thing instead of trying to accomplish the ultimate thing, which is to win the game.
Yeah. That's definitely a way to think about it for sure.
Andy's trying to swallow over here.
Sorry. Barbecue, man.
Don't choke, Andy. Don't choke.
So, out of all the NBA superstars you played with or against, who was your favorite and who was maybe your least favorite to play against or with? I mean,
my favorite to play with was Larry Bird. I mean, I loved playing with him. He and I had a lot in common. We were small town, Midwestern guys, had a lot of similar likes, and beer being one of them. And
I don't know what the favorite beer
and
is.
so it just had a, and still do have a really good relationship with him and a friendship with him, and loved playing with Ed Pinckney. He and I are still great friends to this day. Dan Marley, just to name a couple. Those are the guys they were great teammates, hard workers. Guys I didn't like to play against. I mean, the guy that comes right to my mind all the time is Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, I had to deal with that dude in college, and then I had to deal with him pretty much my whole NBA career. And I tell my wife, now at night I wake up in the middle of the night thinking he's standing behind me.
It's a whole bunch of man standing there.
Yeah, so I mean, he just was an awesome player. Just offensively was so gifted, and then defensively he could cover anybody, and he was just athletic. I mean, he just one of the greatest big men of all time, in my opinion.
So, what's Larry Bird's favorite beer?
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
He's
I
a
can see
Miller
that.
Lite, man.
Blue collar guy. Miller Lite seems to fit that just
Yeah.
right. I would agree with that.
Now
I'm a
we
Bud
know
Light guy.
You're a Bud Light guy.
I'm a Bud Light guy, so we had a lot of debates on that.
Bud Light versus Miller Lite.
So,
But he usually was buying, so I would. Those Miller Lights weren't bad, especially when they were free.
well, yeah, there you go. Whatever you can get.
Not.
Yeah, cheap, free is the best route to go. So,
Yeah.
more gratifying, the Olympic gold or the NBA title? They both. It's interesting the points they came in your career. So,
Right.
which was more gratifying?
Well, I think when I was still playing, I think the NBA ring was, because that was, you were chasing it and chasing it and chasing it and chasing it, and my family and I could have I took the minimum wage to go to Chicago, which I don't want anybody to cry for me on that. It was a good salary, but we turned down some money to go to Chicago because we're chasing that ring, and so I think at that juncture in my life, I think you would say that. But I think over time, when you kind of look at it, and when you go to schools and talk to kids, or you bring your gold medal and you bring your championship ring, and even that, looking at it now, to me, it's the gold medal, because it's once every 4 years. It's once in a lifetime. We were the last amateur team to win it. Just going through the Olympic trials, how difficult it was to make that team, and how lucky I was to be on that team. And just, as you get older, I think looking back, it's, I think that I cherish that one. I cherish them both. They're pretty equal, but if I had to choose one, I would take my gold medal.
Yeah, that's. Obviously, playing for your country is big, but I'd have a hard time choosing between the two of those, to be honest.
Oh no,
never been in that moment, but I'd have a hard time choosing on that one. So before we let you go, I got to get your thoughts on a couple things. So can you give us a rundown of your thoughts on Musselman and Mike Neighbors too, as well, on the Hill right now, and just what your thoughts are on them as coaches and what they're going to bring to the table on the Hill, and what fans can be excited about.
Well, I think we are in great shape with those two guys. I think they get it. I think they understand. Mike definitely being from the state, but I think Eric has really adjusted to what Arkansas is all about, and I think they get it. I think they understand the fan base, and I think they have a real desire to really do well. I love how they both recruit. I think they're tireless recruiters. I think they do things, as we've seen with both of them on Twitter and social media, that are engaging to younger players. And I think from an X and O standpoint, they definitely know what they're doing. Their ability to adjust game to game and in-game situations is as good as anybody in the country. I think our basketball programs are in great hands, and I think the future is very bright.
Yeah, we're obviously looking forward to it. I've had to. So my neighbor is Jalen Ricks, and so I get to chat with him some, and listening to him talk about he got to go up on an unofficial, and just you were talking about the recruiting side of it. Their attention to detail is pretty amazing when you hear some of the stuff that's coming back from recruits. And Jalen was giving me a rundown of, he had all his stats from when he was young. When he first started playing ball on the AAU circuit, and they had stats up on a board from top to bottom, everything he's ever done, all his games. And so I was highly impressed with what Muss brings to the table from that aspect as well.
Yeah, he does his work. He's a tireless worker, and that's what you got to do. That's who you want. I think that's what you want running your program and representing your state.
Yeah, without a doubt. So one other question before we let you go. We had the honor of having Jersey Wolfenbarger on the on an interview, and we're actually going to play that when we get done here and after our break. So, but I wanted you to talk a little. I know you I think you've got a pretty good relationship with her, but wanted to get your thoughts on Jersey and what she's going to bring to the Hill for Mike Neighbors.
Well, I've got to watch her. I'm an assistant coach at Catholic, so whenever we played at Northside, girls would play before, so I'd gotten to see her play, a bunch of times, and got introduced to her through her head coach before a game. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and got to talk to her very briefly. But just what a great young lady. I mean, looked you in the eye, talked to you, respectful, and then you just, if you hadn't ever seen her play, just talking to her, you walk away and go, man, she gets it. And then you watch her play and you go, holy smokes, she really gets it. I mean, she's just a great young lady. And the thing I like about her is, I didn't get to see a lot of her, but I mean, I got to see her play versus Mount St. Mary's, several times, and just always played hard, regardless of the score, always making the right play, whether it's to shoot, to pass, a willing defender, a willing passer. And then you see how she interacts with her teammates on the floor, encouraging, motivating, just had a leadership quality to her, a presence on the floor that you see with, great players. And, I think with, Mike Neighbors, coaching her and the teammates that she already has up there, she's going to fit in really well, and she's going to be a great piece because of her versatility and her willingness to be coached and just her attitude in general. I think having those things, she's going to struggle as a freshman, as all freshmen do, but when you have those things, you can get through it and you can adjust and come out better on the other side. And I certainly think that's what's going to happen with her.
Well, I was certainly impressed with her just as a person when we talked to her. So I think she's definitely she brings a lot of good to the Hill and to Mike Neighbors' program. So certainly looking forward to that. But well, Joe, we certainly appreciate you joining us today, man. We won't take up too much of your afternoon. I know you got a busy one. So I had one other question. It looked like a fan hit us up with a question. So Christopher Shaw wanted to know: do you think LeBron James would have reached his stats if he played in that '90s NBA?
I do. I mean, I think we all look back. Everybody, as you guys know, the game was different back then. I mean, it was taught differently. It was ref differently. It was played differently. And so the perception that everybody says is that players nowadays aren't as tough as players in past days. And that may be true, but I mean, in my opinion, but again, it's because of the way the game is. It's not, I think LeBron, if he was in the '90s and he'd been taught coming through AAU and taught coming up how to play this '90s style of basketball, physical, he would be awesome at it because he's an awesome player. So, I think a lot of it is when we judge the previous players as opposed to, I think all these players, if they were, especially the great ones, if they were put in the situation of the '90s and had been taught and how to play this way and coach this way, with the toughness and the fouling and all that they would adjust and they would be great in that era. So, I mean, I think LeBron would be LeBron. I think he would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
That's something I would have loved to have seen.
Oh, man, his size and his skill at that, that'd have been a lot of fun. It'd have been fun to watch him go up against the Pistons. So
6'8", 250.
Yeah.
Come on, and can run.
Yeah, yeah, he would have, all them hits you see Michael taking, and I think the Pistons might have backed off a little on LeBron because there's a little different beast coming down that lane than Michael.
No doubt.
A man that runs a 4.5 40 and is 250 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot of meat coming at you.
Yeah, no doubt.
You want to take this lick because it's going to hurt me and it's going to hurt you both.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Joe, thanks so much for joining us. Once again, guys, get out to Corky's, get your lunch. If you see the food on our plates right now, you're probably hungry.
Mine doesn't look that good right now.
Yours got tore up over there, bud.
Destroyed it.
Yeah, you destroyed them ribs. This chicken is amazing.
I still got another half rack down below, though.
I know it. We're gonna tear that up later.
Man, I think I'm gonna go up there, and but if I go up there, they're gonna put me to work. So I don't know. I may.
Look,
They were pretty busy when we went. So.
wear one of them little disguises with the mustache and the glasses and nose,
undercover
and
boss.
see if you can get in there without being seen or anything. I don't know. Man, he's 7 foot tall. They might pick you out of the crowd, bud.
I think 6'11" coming through the kitchen is gonna be hard to disguise.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you can disguise that.
I'm not Joe. No, I'm his brother Paul. I don't work here.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Well, Joe, we appreciate it again. Thanks so much. I hope to have you on again in the future. Maybe
All right.
Hopefully talk some basketball this fall. So
Absolutely. Anytime, guys.
fantastic.
You guys have a great day. My
All right,
pleasure.
Sir.
Safe travels. Good to talk to you. All right, man. That was good. Oh, beep in our ear. That was good stuff, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed Joe. When we get back, we're going to play the interview that Jackson had with Jersey Wolfenbarger. So hang around with us. We'll be right back and enjoy this Corky's commercial.
My barbecue.
That's right. I'm going to tear mine up. And I promise we're going to go to the next screen when I can get it up. All right. See you in a minute.
Give me a screen. Come on now.
You hungry yet? Don't know how you can be after watching that segment. Head over to corkysbarbecue.com and click on the menu link. Then pick up your phone and call the Little Rock or North Little Rock location and get that order in. I personally recommend starting off with some famous Corky's cheese dip, then order that rack of ribs you've been craving with a side of fried okra and mashed potatoes. And if you're still somehow hungry after all of that, be sure to order some of their delicious homemade banana pudding for dessert. And don't forget, Corky's will cater that post-pandemic party you're throwing when this COVID-19 business is gone. Get your Corky's order in today. This is what we do between takes. Just in case you were wondering.
I do it during takes.
We only got 5 people watching anyway.
Watch me eat. I'm
Right.
good at it.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
You know y'all want some of this. Go get it.
This chicken is so good. Woo, man.
Their chicken's real juicy.
This is really good stuff. So that was a lot of fun. What do you think about Joe?
Joe's pretty cool. I've talked to
people.
him several times in the restaurant and stuff like that, and other times I've run into him, but that was pretty neat. That's something you're not going to get to just do, like when you meet him in public or something. You can't just sit down for 30 minutes and talk to him about what he did when he was in the NBA or college or Olympics. Or
Well, and it's really cool because,
now
I mean,
his business is cooking and
yeah. Yeah, you're going to
China.
talk a lot of barbecue before we start recording.
Definitely. It was interesting knowing that he, when he went into this and he didn't know what dry ribs were.
Yeah.
And I'm a dry rub nut. That's about the only way I'm going to do mine.
Dry
And he
rub
was
nut.
like, what?
That came out all kinds of backwards.
Whoa. Whoa.
Let me hop over here. I forgot to check our sound. I bet it screwed up.
Does that sound better?
There you go.
Okay.
It did. I'm sorry if that whole part there was echoed. I really hope it wasn't. I hope that's just a Skype issue.
Look, you're going to have Barry Booker problems. You keep talking like
All
that.
right, ma'am. Hey, we didn't even ask him about that. I forgot about that.
Probably need to leave that alone.
It would have been a lot of fun, though. So, that was
I'm
good.
Sure we'll get him back. We'll ask him next season.
Yeah, pretty cool to have him on and get to talk about, like, the only sport.
You want a bone?
No, I don't have a big dog anymore. That makes me want to cry.
Hey, I'll take him to Diesel.
But, yeah, it was cool getting to talk about it. I finally got to catch up on The Last Dance yesterday. So
Me too.
my kids have been at Grandma's. Thank you so much, Grandma, for taking them. And so they've been at Grandma's for the last couple of days. So I had a quiet house yesterday and actually got to catch up on The Last Dance. If you haven't watched
Is that what you caught up on?
it was.
Oh.
Spent 4 hours, well, a little less than that with fast forwarding through commercials, but good.
3 and 4 last night.
Yeah, I caught 1, 2.
Definitely going to go back and catch 1 and 2 now.
1 and 2 were a lot of fun. I highly recommend you get back and watch. It's all good stuff. Of course, it continues tonight at 8 o'clock, I guess.
I think it's 8.
ESPN for the Dirty Word version and ESPN2 for the non-Dirty Word version. So make sure.
I watched it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
No, I might have watched it just on Watch because it was edited. Mm-hmm. So I got to go over to Plus to watch it with all the explicit words.
Yeah, it's just the ESPN broadcast. It should be the
Okay.
explicit one. So
Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan calls somebody an asshole.
yeah,
I've got to watch it there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, without a doubt. So Kevin, let's see. So yeah, so good stuff, man. Really appreciate you guys joining us. So coming up next, we wanted to share. I know you guys. So a couple things. Let me just start here. Number one, this is not something we do every Sunday. We do record this live every Sunday for YouTube. So if you want to catch the show, hop over to YouTube, Natural State Sports. Click the subscribe button. Make sure you're set up for live notifications.
Click that bell.
Because you never know, we could go live at like 5 in the afternoon, we could go live at 9 at night, or we go live at noon like we did today. So a lot of times it just depends on what our guests have for us, and so worked out today that we started at noon. But make sure you get over to Natural State Sports and subscribe to our YouTube page, and so that you don't miss anything there.
Yeah, if you don't catch us at noon or like around 6, we might not be eating while doing this.
Now remember, obviously, this is a podcast, so make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. So if you are watching this and you did not know we had a podcast, where the hell have you been? And then B, make sure that you go to your favorite podcast app, whether it be Apple Podcast, Google Play, whatever, Spotify, whatever you use, and like, share, and subscribe, and throw us a 5-star review. The 5-star reviews help us out and help us bring good quality content for you guys. So please like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching this right now, give us a share as well. Make sure that you share the show. But again, YouTube page, very important. Get over there and take a look at it and subscribe so you don't miss us. So our interview with that's a big chunk of chips. So our interview, Jackson, Mr. Hogball Blog himself, caught up with Jersey Wolfenbarger this past week. That interview you can find on YouTube, but right now you're going to be able to find it right here on Facebook. Hopefully nobody gets mad at me because I didn't really tell anybody I was doing this. So let me hop over here and get my screen up real quick. Just kidding. That's on the wrong screen. All right.
Steve doesn't really know how to do this, so I'll carry the show right now.
I appreciate you. I need you.
He's learning.
I need you. I don't know what I'm doing. No, I had it all set up, but with all the changes, it decided to dump me out of there.
Old Jackson got him a good interview here, so
he did. He did well.
To share this. Obviously, you heard Joe's opinion on Jersey just a few minutes ago.
Welcome to Natural State Sports. I'm Jackson.
Hang on. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I can't even eat. Hurry up.
You could. Oh, yeah. We're going to eat during this, aren't we?
Yeah. Come on.
All right, guys. So, anyway, without further ado, let me get you to the right screen.
Yep. Just watching Steve do this on his little funny backwards.
All right. There you go. Boom.
There you go.
And a play. All right. Enjoy.
Welcome to Natural State Sports. I'm Jackson Collier, occasional podcast guest, basketball content writer, and man behind the Hogball blog on Twitter. I'm joined with Jersey Wolfenbarger today, elite basketball prospect and recent Arkansas women's basketball commit with the class of 2021. She was the 2020 Gatorade Player of the Year in the state. Jersey, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So obviously I listed off some accolades you've already received, and surely there are going to be more to come in the near future. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the prestige and notoriety you've gotten through the recruiting process, or is that something that you just kind of accepted with how hard you've worked for what you've wanted to do?
Definitely it comes from how hard I have worked, and so I've learned to appreciate it, even though sometimes it could be overwhelming, having to really kind of get to know colleges and make sure you choose, your right school, your best fit. But it's definitely a blessing, and it's very, very rewarding to see all your hard work pay off.
And talking about hard work, there is an immense amount of work that you have to put in to be a Division I athlete, let alone one of such a high caliber as yourself. Could you walk us through sort of your daily routine? What does a top level recruit normally go through daily as far as managing schoolwork and also eating right and getting in practice time and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's definitely you have to put in more hours than the average person. My thing that I do is I do multiple workouts. So if we have team practice, I'm typically doing a shooting workout, directly after practice, and then I go to weights training. My shooting is every day, so I do that, set like every week, so like every day during the week, and then I do my weight training at least 5 days.
Oh wow. So yeah, you're doing weight training and shooting every single day. So yeah, that is definitely next level stuff, and obviously why you're going to be playing for the University of Arkansas. Obviously, your growth spurt has been well documented. Did you ever notice that while you were playing? Like, I know it happened over a span of a year. You grew about a foot, and you played point guard, and you were what, 5'6", and now you're 6'5". Did you just come to practice one day and ever notice that your teammates were all a lot shorter than you, or were you ever dribbling the basketball and it was taking longer to get back up to your hand or anything like that? Or is it just kind of a gradual kind of noticing?
Um, no, it was definitely challenging. Sometimes when you go through a growth spurt like that, you start getting tripped up easily, like
Mhm.
easier, and then making sure I maintain like weight and my strength was definitely a challenge because I'm growing so fast, so it's hard to keep on, muscle mass. So I did a lot of like protein shakes and just trying to maintain, my weight. And then I'd always try to measure myself against my teammates. So whoever was taller than me, I would try to like walk up to him and kind of like size him up, I guess. And finally, I was tall, like I'm the tallest one on my team, so I get to like look down on a lot of teammates. So it's pretty funny because we were, like neck and neck, and then now I'm 4 inches taller.
That is pretty funny. So were there any adjustments you had to make to your game while going through that growth spurt? Like
Yeah,
your
I
game in
definitely.
particular, not necessarily your diet or anything.
Yeah, I switched from being more of a point guard to like a two, just for the sole fact that handling the ball at like my height is a lot more difficult than a shorter guard, and it also gave me the opportunity to create mismatches and go down low and post up a smaller guard or draw a bigger defender out to guard me.
Have you ever been compared to Anthony Davis with his growth spurt from going like 6 foot point guard to being a 6'11", 7 foot swing forward?
Yeah, my mom does all the time, and I typically get mad because I like to be compared to KD, and
Oh,
so
okay.
I always tell her I'm like, Mom, I'm not AD, I'm KD. So
I mean, there's nothing really wrong with being compared to two
yeah,
NBA All-Stars, though.
yes, yes.
Um, so obviously it's been well documented, and you've said before that Mike Neighbors contacted you, recruited you, and offered you before your growth spurt, and that was a major reason in your decision-making process for committing to Arkansas. Obviously, you still have your senior season in high school left to go. Have you talked about your potential role on the team with Coach Neighbors yet, even though that's still a year out?
Yeah, I'm looking at this season as a way to progress. So when I walk on campus, I'm not playing like a freshman. I'm able to play like an upperclassman. And coach has done a really good job of kind of letting me know how he runs the system and what I can get better at. And I've been working on that, daily, trying to make sure that I'm prepared for the next level.
Gotcha. And of course, I'm sure you've talked philosophy with them plenty of times. Do you know about his green light philosophy with players? I'm sure you do.
Yes, yeah. When I first went on my unofficial visit with Coach Neighbors my freshman year, we spend the most of the visit writing down drills as green light drills, and I've been working on those, trying to make sure that I'm prepared and ready, and that I can consistently get them.
Gotcha. There was one time, a handful of years ago, when he was still at the University of Washington. He was giving a talk at a coaching conference at Hendrix, and he was talking about, I think they were in the Elite Eight at this point, and they were down maybe 8 or 10 points. And he had a couple of his players who were green lighted, who kept pulling from deep 3 point range and kind of almost shooting them out of the game. And at this conference, he said, "Man, I couldn't tell them not to shoot because they were green lighted. I told them, if you're green lighted, I can't stop you." Well, they ended up shooting them back in the game, and they made it to the Final Four. So I
Yeah.
just thought that was always a really cool philosophy and something I never really thought of. But especially with your game being able to hit the three and becoming sort of or not sort of, but you are becoming a three level scorer, that's got to be attractive of a style of play for you.
Yeah, Coach Neighbor's system is positionless, and I like to see myself as a positionless player. And so I think I can really thrive in his system, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be able to produce and help my teammates be successful.
How much did being a part of a rebuild factor into your decision? It's not so much a rebuild now after this last season where they were in the top 25 and they were about to go to the NCAA tournament before this whole cancellation and pandemic happened. But it's been a long time since there's been this level of success and this level of hype around the women's basketball team. Did that play a major factor in why you wanted to stay home?
Yeah, I want to be a part of what Coach is building. It excites me because you get to see how much they've progressed, and I've always looked at the future, so I can't wait. Like, I'm trying to work every day to be able to be successful with Coach Neighbors and with the team.
Awesome. And last question, kind of a softball question. Obviously, 3-level scorer, offensive player, offensive dynamite player. Do you have a favorite way to score on opponents? Do you like hitting threes in people's faces? Do you like driving and getting and ones? Or what is your favorite way to score?
My favorite way to score is whatever the defense gives me. I like to score in general. So whatever they push me left, I like to try to reverse it back right. Or it doesn't matter to me. I just want to be able. I like to score because I feel like that's my way to contribute to my team.
Good answer. Very good answer. Well, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate you coming on here and answering some questions. Obviously, good luck moving forward for your senior season, and look forward to watching you in a Razorback jersey.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff there from Jackson, man. He knocked it out of the park with that interview, didn't he, Andy?
Absolutely.
Oh, don't do that. Hang on, guys.
What are you doing?
Well, this isn't cooperating at the moment.
Yeah, Jackson, that was a rock star interview. I mean, in my opinion, watching that. Great questioning. The girl seems to be really, really open about what she wants to do, where her head's at. It's definitely going to be fun watching the Lady Backs this coming fall.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited about it. We watched
2 5-star recruits in one class on a women's basketball team, both of them in state.
Yeah.
That's
This
awesome.
team's going to be really, really, really good. So I know you guys are staring at my face right now. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of this deal over here.
Just put tape over the camera. The government's watching.
It's just not working for me right now.
Feds are watching.
There we go. All right. Well, we're back, I promise. So we're gonna hop into it here in just a second if my screen will cooperate.
You know what's really cooperating?
We're on the wrong camera. There we go. Look, we're on the right camera now.
You know what's really cooperating?
What's that?
It's barbecue.
Barbecue's amazing. Like I'm glad we had that 8-minute section there where you guys didn't have to listen to us chew on our food because we were doing some chowing down. I think Andy might have went to Corky's and got another slab of ribs, to be honest.
No, but I've knocked back about I think 16 bones in a rack. I think I'm about 11 or 12 through it in the matter of about 8 minutes. So
Okay, so as you can see on the screen, we are at I just burped everywhere. That was awesome. You're welcome, guys. So, rant of the day. Now, I apologize. I'm going to have to bring the rant down a little bit since we're live on Facebook today. But you can join us on YouTube next Sunday, and my rant probably won't be as clean PC, and it's the side that Will has to clean up.
sorry, Will.
So
Sorry.
Will likes it. He likes having something to do, I think. Not like he's been working selling water or anything. So
He's crunching numbers.
he's been working a ton of hours, actually, so during this whole thing. Okay, so here's my rant of the week, and this goes out. It's from Twitter. It frustrates me, though. So Justin Stepp, arguably the most important piece on the Arkansas coaching staff right now, especially by far the only piece that we brought over that should have been brought over was Justin Stepp.
Absolutely.
You've seen what he's done for this team, the way he recruits, the way the kids love him, the way people love him. Well, he proved this past week, why people love him so much. And it's because he cares about people. He genuinely cares about people.
It's not just an image. It's not portrayed just for the screen. It's real.
Yeah, he's a real dude. What you see from him is real. Well, so last week on Twitter, he changes his Twitter picture. Now, this is where my rant starts and gets really frustrating.
Rawr.
Folks, Twitter, 99% of the people on there don't have a real picture as their profile picture anyway, so who the hell cares what is on it? Good for you, I don't. Who the hell cares what your freaking profile picture is anyway? But Justin Stepp changes his profile picture to a G, and it's not. It doesn't look like any. It looks like Grambling, I guess. If you're going to compare it to anything, it kind of looks like a Grambling.
Grosbeck, Texas.
Like, it's nothing. So he's not leaving Arkansas for Grambling. So people are going to freak out. He changes his profile picture to this G. And then he has to come out because people gave him crap about it. So he has to come out on Twitter and explain the reason he's doing it is to support a friend of his who's a coach in South Carolina who has cancer. Okay? So it's bad enough that people gave him crap, so much so that he had to come out and address it. But let's add to that not only did he have to do that, then people like Johnny Jameson, who apparently believes that QAnon is, I'm not getting into this anyway, we're going to go down a political rabbit hole.
What?
So Johnny Jameson said, why even do it when you know the look it creates? Think, Justin. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Somebody, a grown man, slapped that dude.
Right, okay, well, it gets even better.
Where's he at?
Pawpaw Hog, with, anyway, just can't, that's his Twitter name. You can ask for thoughts and prayers without changing a profile pic to a G. You can even mention names and schools associated with said person without a G. Heck, I have even heard of people asking for unspoken prayer requests without mentioning a name. It's not.
He could have a picture of Toucan Sam off a box of Fruit Loops. It's a damn picture.
Yes.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Who's worse, Pawpaw Hog or Mudbutt?
But what the hell does it matter? Oh God, Mudbutt. Can we just not go down that road again?
Oh, Mudbutt, Twitter man.
God, man.
I got inside stats, bud.
I mean, Johnny Jameson that I'm talking about is the same guy who, like a week and a half ago, unequivocally said Mason Jones was 100% coming back. And Mason Jones ain't coming back, folks. He signed with an agent. He done. He gone. So
congratulations, Mason.
Yeah, enjoy. Hey, no one's taking anything away from you, Mason.
Go do what you want to do, man. Follow your dream.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying, this dude's an absolute moron, and it's highly frustrating.
He's openly proving it to everyone.
Yes.
Without even trying.
Yes.
Put yourself out there. You better be the right information.
Yeah. So what aggravated me the most about it, though, was the fact that Justin, number one, had to respond to it and had to clear anything up.
He didn't have to respond to it. He did just because he's a good person. He felt the need to explain stuff, and it kind of backfired. It seemed like to me from what you're explaining.
Yeah, and thankfully,
if anything, if you were a normal person and not a moron, you would go, okay, well, I can get behind that and I can support that too.
Yeah, well,
but no, you're too stupid, and you want to sit there and try to tell somebody, you know what? It's a free country. You can do whatever the heck he wants. If he wants to make his picture, like I said, Toucan Sam from the Fruit Loops, he can do that.
But here's what I don't understand.
Maybe a lucky charm.
It's not like he put a Missouri Tiger helmet up there, or an LSU, or an Ole Miss, or an A&M, anything. He didn't put
Alabama.
It wasn't like it was an Alabama coach and he put that up. This was a coach at a South Carolina high school and he put their logo up. Like, who the hell cares? Why are you people making a big deal about it?
Apparently, the idiots in our fan base that think that they can say something, they can change it.
These will be the people that will come out and we lose to Notre Dame by a touchdown that'll say fire Sam Pittman. I mean, these are people that have nothing to do. They cannot be made happy. They're never happy. They are consistently just terrible people to be around, and unfortunately, social media has become a place for them to spout out their nonsense. Our cheese dip has gotten cold. I'm sorry. The fan. Don't drop it on the road. We'll get really mad if we drop it on the electronics.
I'll drop it back in the bucket.
Yeah, you already tried to destroy electronics this morning.
Hey,
so.
I did.
You fixed it. Look, see, you can see it's
good.
fixed. But this was in like 12 pieces earlier. So just before getting
it's
prepped
still
for
in
Joe.
12 pieces.
Yeah.
It's just in 12 pieces in a case.
Yes. Yeah.
I did break this, though.
Well, we can have that back. I don't care. It's not mine.
We need another mic clip.
No, we don't. We don't have that anymore. Again, we have plenty of them. See, right there. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us this week. It's been a lot of fun. Got Joe. Got to talk a little Jersey. So, Andy, what else you got, buddy? What you looking at?
You playing the same music going out as going in?
Well, because I don't have any out music right now. That was part of my plan to start, and I didn't have time to do
I was going to bump into something about make sure you check out the live show on Friday night. We got some interesting things going on. Had a bunch of views lately on best Razorbacks by position in the SEC era. Coming up this week, you've got quarterbacks and safeties, I believe. Next week, I think we're going to try to do a little giveaway when we do running backs and linebackers.
Uh-oh.
See if we can get somebody to maybe match up a list with myself or Zach. I think we're kind of rough on this right now on trying to figure out what to do. But if somebody gets like an exact match, have your list posted by 7 o'clock. Zach and I will screenshot ours so it knows that it's not fake or anything like that. And somebody hits it, we'll try to give away a gift card or something like that. Maybe a food card or something in the area, somebody that anyone that's anywhere that's listening to us can benefit from.
Yeah, so, they got some good. Y'all got some good food on that show.
Yes, we do. We have an awesome pizza place in Benton called Lost Pizza, and they're actually they're all over. You know, I had their pizza when I was down there in Oxford.
Right.
So actually, turns out I knew the owner. I went to grade school with him, which is the funny thing. But yeah, they take care of us over there. 501 Nutrition as well. Zach and Katie actually brought me a shake to work Friday morning, and we're like, "You are busy." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't have time to pick up the phone to do nothing."
And you're not allowed to go to Sonic and get off the patio. So
no, you can't because you'll get kicked out.
Kicked out. I learned that.
Yeah. Put Steve's tires on. That's another thing. Big Jake's come see me.
Yep, we're gonna make sure you get over and see Andy there. Don't forget also, on the topic of live shows, the Sports Junkies, again, will be back this week.
You push that. I'm going to push mine.
We had a blast. Yeah, we had a blast with Kevin Bohannon last week joining us to talk some baseball. This week, we got another special guest. We're super excited about it. Former defensive tackle for the Arkansas Razorbacks, Zach Stather, will be joining us this week. So 100% looking forward to having him on. We're going to talk some 2011 football, a little bit more Razorback history, and who knows what other topics Justin and I will come up with to talk with him about. And then make sure that you catch this podcast. Make sure you share, you like, subscribe, give us that 5-star review. And then don't forget, Around the Diamond with myself and Kevin Bohannon, Coach Cabo, the baseball guru. That comes out every Thursday. We also stream it live as well on YouTube. And don't miss it. We've had Bubba Carpenter on. We've had Phil Elson. We've had
a couple others.
Steve Moritz is on this last podcast. Steve Moritz is the Padre Scout. So make sure you guys get out and check out the podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you get over to the Natural State Sports page and hit that like button and share. That's right. Share this.
Share.
And sign up for live notifications so you don't miss us when we go live.
Yeah, go to YouTube too.
Yes, YouTube as well. I can't keep up with all of them.
As always, bacon helps.
Bacon helps. All right. Until next week, we done ran through all the music. Have a good one. Wash your hands. Woo pig.
Woo pig. In such services as oil changes, flat repairs, new and used tires, alignment, suspension work, as well as full engine and transmission replacement. We also carry a full line of aftermarket accessories, including custom wheels and tires, lift kits, step rails, bumpers, winches, and remote start systems. On a business with a fleet of vehicles, we got you covered there too. Starting this week, we have a food drive to benefit Saline County students. Bring in 3 non-perishable items and you will receive an oil change with a free brake inspection and tire rotation for $19.99. Some restrictions do apply. Stop in or give us a call.